It is true that I showed my players in recent years clips of Man City, of Pep Guardiola's teams.
For years, Pep Guardiola has dominated world football. From his sextuple side at Barcelona, to his record-breaking Bayern team, to winning 6 Premier League titles in 8 seasons with Manchester City, he is an all-timer. For many, he is the greatest manager of all time. But all great things eventually come to an end.
An era can come to an end.
Ten Hag was right when he said this. He was just wrong about which bald Dutchman was gonna do it. Pep's dominance of the Premier League is being disrupted.
I want to hurt myself, yeah.
By one of his own admirers.
He is one of the best managers in the world, maybe the best manager in the world.
A man who is able to steal his playbook and make it his own. You see, Slot has been very open about how much he has learned from Pep.
And then I was lucky enough that in that period of time there was, of course, the Barcelona team from Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
I saw that they did 10 out of 10 times the pattern that my teammates and me did 2 out of 10 times maybe.
The tactical principles and possession-based rules that he uses in his Liverpool side to maintain control were shaped by watching footage of Pep Guardiola's dominant Barcelona side.
His Barcelona team was, of course, they were great players as well, but the way he let them play was, every time when it was Sunday evening, you were hoping that Barcelona was on, that they had to play a home game, so we could watch them again.
Watching the way they kept the ball, the way they found each other, the passages of play. For someone as obsessed with football as Slot, it was eye-opening.
So that brought me to an idea in ball possession where I felt like, okay, this is the idea I have now, how can I transmit this to my players?
Slot said that there are few people in football who, when you watch them, will never let you down. For him, those 2 people were Pep Guardiola and Lionel Messi.
You once said that Pep Guardiola and Lionel Messi are 2 of the people who, quote, have never disappointed you on the pitch.
When Barcelona were at their peak from 2009 to 2011, Slot was still a player, but there was no better team to learn from. For many, the Barcelona team from that era is the definition of peak football. A combination of incredible coaching, team play, and individual brilliance. When managers want to show their teams how to play selfless, how to move the ball, they show them Pep's Barcelona sides. Funny enough, there's actually a lot of similarities between Slot's Liverpool side and Pep's 2009 Barca team. I mean, I hope this goes without saying, but I'm not saying Slot's Liverpool are going to win the treble. These are just some similarities that I noticed between the 2 teams, besides the fact that they were both being managed by 2 eggheads. Both have an insane right winger who loves to cut inside on his left foot and create magic. Both had a solid foundation to build on from the previous coach. Like, Slot has done amazing, but the team did have the best center back in the league, the best right back in the league, the best right winger, and even the best backup goalie. Even Gravenberch, whose rejuvenation has come from Slot, he's a player that Klopp fought very hard to have in the team. The same thing goes for Pep, who inherited a team that had Messi, Xavi, Henry, and so many other stars. Both teams have a top-class center back as the captain of the team. Slot has fellow Dutch international Virgil van Dijk leading his team. Meanwhile, Pep had Puyol. Both teams lost to an unexpected opponent. Slot lost to Nottingham Forest at home, while Pep's Barca side, a team that would end up winning the treble, lost their opening league game to newly promoted Numancia. Both teams also had a lot of faith in their youth academy. You're seeing Slot utilizing Connor Bradley and Curtis Jones, and of course we all know the La Masia players that Pep loved to use. Both teams beat Real Madrid 2-0 at home. Pep beat Madrid in his first ever El Clasico 2-0 at the Camp Nou. Slot beat Real Madrid at Anfield. This one is actually a very crazy similarity because we know that in recent years, Liverpool have really struggled against Real Madrid. Madrid beat them in 2 separate Champions League finals, embarrassed them 5-2 at their own ground. It was a team that no matter how well the Reds were doing, they just couldn't get by them. But then Slot's Liverpool not only beat them 2-0, but absolutely dominated them the entire game. It felt more symbolic than a normal win. It felt like a psychological shift. Now both the Liverpool players and the fans believe that they could achieve anything with Slot as their manager. Well, this was very similar to what happened with Pep back in 2009. Prior to Pep's appointment in 2008, Barca had more losses than wins against Real Madrid. They had not won the league since 2006 and had actually finished 3rd this season before. Under Pep though, Barcelona dominated Real Madrid. They ended up winning the league, Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. Then even beat Real Madrid 6-2 at their own ground. Again, I'm not saying Slot is going to win the treble, but there is a lot of similarities between both of their paths in their first seasons at a top club. Now here's the thing, many managers have been inspired by Pep.
It completely transformed the way of people thought, I think, in this country about the game.
how the game could be played in the Premier League.
How would you describe Pep Guardiola's impact on the Premier League?
Revolutionary.
He broke down some barriers in terms of how you can be successful in it, and the way you approach things. And
many have copied his playbook but have been unable to beat him. Arteta was Pep's right-hand man. He worked right under Pep as he began his early dominance of the Premier League. Yet Arteta, despite how close he has gone, wasn't able to disrupt Pep. Back-to-back seasons where City came back from behind to lift the title. Well, what makes Slot different? Well, to compete against Pep, you have to match his baldness. You can't have a full head of hair.
I saw someone bald over there as well.
No, I'm just kidding. Slot just continued learning. Now that he was a full-time coach, Pep was at Manchester City.
When Pep left over there came a new era, and that was the rivalry between Liverpool and City. So I've seen a lot of that rivalry and a lot of games.
He was still dominating, but his City sides didn't play like his Barca team. They didn't even play like his Bayern team.
What makes him a good manager, in my opinion, that he always adjusts his style of play towards the players he had. So he used Messi as a false nine, then he went to Bayern Munich and he started to play with inverted fullbacks and wingers on the side because he had Robben and Ribéry over there. So he always finds a way of bringing the best out of his players.
People love to act like Pep's success only comes from spending money, which just isn't true. Sir Alex Ferguson broke the transfer record 5 times, more than twice as many as any other Premier League manager. You look at the amount he spent and account for inflation, he was actually the highest spending manager in Premier League history. Now again, spending is not what made Sir Alex Ferguson great. If money was the main contributor to teams being successful, then PSG, United, and even Chelsea would have been dominating for the past few years. What Pep does is he makes good teams great. Some people have this unrealistic expectation that Pep is supposed to go to the 3rd division of English football and drag that team to the Champions League like it's Football Manager. The best coaches always have the best players. They just help them perform even better, which is exactly what Slot is doing. Slot has made Van Dijk look even better, Salah even better, and these are guys that were already established as some of the very best to have ever graced the Premier League. Even though Pep had the best players, he achieved a level of dominance that nobody else has been able to replicate. His Bayern team wrapped up the title in record time after just 27 match days, the earliest a team has ever clinched the Bundesliga. They went 28 games unbeaten, a record that still hasn't been broken. Yes, he didn't win the Champions League like his predecessor Jupp did in 2013, but it's not like it's a guarantee to always win the most prestigious club competition. Bayern is a massive club, but before their Champions League win in 2013, the last time they lifted the European competition was in 2001. Under Pep though, the Bavarians were always a threat. They made it to the semi-finals every single year that he was managing the club. In 2014, the Madrid team he lost to ended up winning the whole thing. In 2015, he lost to MSN Barca, that again ended up winning the whole competition. In 2016, Bayern Munich were eliminated by away goals to Atletico, who were a penalty kick away from winning the whole thing. I think it's a testament to Pep's greatness that if he doesn't win every single trophy in a season, it's seen as a failure. At City, he turned the league that many people claim is the best league in the world into a farmers league.
Because we won 6 Premier Leagues, a lot of titles.
Yes, many of the title races were close, but he still ended up winning 6 Premier League titles in 8 seasons. 4 of them in a row, something that even Sir Alex Ferguson couldn't do. Like, you didn't even need to watch the games to know who was lifting the trophy at the last match day. Sure, City had won 2 league titles before Pep arrived, but they had shown nowhere near the same level of dominance. Not to mention, their track record in Europe was poor. Pep came in, and not only did he get them to their first ever Champions League final, but he helped them win the competition in 2023, winning the 2nd ever treble in his career. Now Slot, he was a smart man. He was seeing that no matter where Pep went, he would be dominating domestically.
What is it about him that you admire so much?
Look at his track record, that's one. But second of all, because it's not only about the trophies you win, it's also the way you win it.
The league, by the way, is in my opinion the best place to judge a manager. And I'll tell you why. Because teams and coaches can go on a lucky cup run or hit form at the right time in a knockout competition. Look at Ten Hag with the FA Cup or how Tottenham made it to the 2019 Champions League final. But nobody can accidentally win the league. You can't get lucky over 38 games. The league rewards longevity and consistency. It is the very best place to judge a manager's quality. Slot definitely noticed that every league Pep joined, the points tally required to win the league became so much higher. In La Liga, before Pep arrived, you normally needed 76 to 85 points to win the league. After Pep, the average point needed was 90 to 99 points. Same thing happened in the Bundesliga. Before, anywhere between 70 to 81 points would get you the title. With Pep there, you needed closer to 90. Look at the Premier League. Liverpool got 97 points in 2019 and they still couldn't defeat Pep. As a result, Slot realized that he had to take as many plays as possible from Pep's playbook.
And you talked about Pep Guardiola and how you said he was a control freak, just like you. Not that you want to compare yourself to him, but also how you try and win a game a week before it's played.
So he himself started playing around with the concepts of inverted fullbacks and using center backs as midfielders. You see, both Slot and Pep were midfielders that relied on their football IQ rather than physical attributes, so they were able to see the game differently.
I learned a lot when I played myself, which ball did I like my teammate to play, which ball I didn't like my teammate to play. I needed my teammates to get a bit of quality into my own game. And I think that helps now being a manager, because you think more about the game and about your teammates than if you're just simply that good that if they give you the ball, you can do something special with it yourself.
Slot was testing out things at Alkmaar and Feyenoord way before he had even come to England. The quick passing triangles that Pep's teams did so well, you could see it in Slot's Feyenoord sides. His admiration for Pep went even beyond tactics. Slot actually implemented a change in routine for home matches inspired by what the Spaniard had done with his City and Barca sides. Instead of staying at a hotel the night before a match, Slot had the players sleep at home. Then the squad would meet on the morning of the match for a team meeting before taking the bus to Anfield. It's a change that Pep implemented early in his coaching career, and it had a positive impact according to one of his former players, Xavi. Based on their home record, it seems that the Liverpool players are enjoying this change as well. Now, Slot has copy-pasted many of Pep's tactics and philosophies, but he is his own manager. He has been inspired, but he's also made his own tweaks. His teams are far more direct than Pep's sides. They are essentially a hybrid of all the different teams and coaches that Slot has learned from. His midfield controls the tempo of the game like a Pep team, but his sides can also counter and play fast heavy metal football like Klopp's teams. Now, there's still a long way to go for Slot. Many teams have been in great form before being absolutely heartbroken by Pep Guardiola. Klopp and Arteta have felt the joy of being ahead, but then match day 38 comes around and they're standing there holding nothing. But it would be fitting for the student to become the teacher, for Pep's era to be ended by someone who has been inspired so much by the Spaniard. To achieve that, Slot has a deadly plan, one that I have broken into much more detail in this video right here. Check it out.